I missed it. Wait, I missed it.
Come on.
Do it again.
It's fine. Ready?
No.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Welcome back to another episode of Into the Industry with me, Darion Matthews.
And Alana Noble. Are we
Uh,
saying it?
we are
Are we
here.
saying what this is?
Yeah, we are here on our 10th and season finale episode of Into the Industry, y'all. You heard us right. This is the season finale. So after this, we are taking a little hiatus, a little break, coming together to reconvene, upgrading the podcast a little bit, but also maybe taking some of the holidays off.
Give us a break,
But
people.
yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, speaking of the holidays, I'm just banging out the rest of the year. It feels like everything is flying by so fast. I can't believe it's already the middle of November.
No, literally. I think I looked at I was making my coffee this morning in my like sleep deprived morning self. And I looked at the calendar and I was like, shit. I was like, wow, we're like really, really, really
Like it's
almost
done.
at the end of the year. It's done. And I was like, wow, in like 2 weeks, it's like gonna be December. My God, this year has just flown by. Like, wow. I hope in a good
But
way.
yet, we've done so many things. I mean, like, we started Into the Industry in April. Did it come out till May or June?
I think June.
We started a podcast this year. We made it through the year. We got 10 lovely episodes out. We had great guests. Shows have come, shows have gone. You've done shows this year. We went to Disney this year. That doesn't feel like it was this year. It feels like it was 3 years ago, but
That was this year.
yeah, girl, that was February.
Oh my God. Wow.
And we've made great connections with people on the internet, which is a lovely. Luckily, this episode, or tell me how your week has been, Alana.
My week's been good. I saw a show this past
What
week.
show?
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I saw two strangers carry a cake across New York. It was absolutely fantastic. Please, please, please go. I think that they're like still in previews and they're opening later this month. So I highly suggest that you get those tickets while they're decently priced before this show blows up. I think that it was just expertly done. I think the music's good. The book is hilarious. And it's just a really, really, really cool production. And I highly recommend. And it was nice to see a show because I haven't seen a show in a really long time.
It looks really, I mean, I've heard you talk about it after you saw it, and like it blew up on TikTok. It seems like it's a lovely little, I hope it does well.
I
Also,
hope
the
it does
music
well.
sounds great.
I hope it does well too. I was just talking to somebody that it's a completely original piece, which is fantastic. And I was saying that I think as more and more the model of Broadway becomes like movies turning into musicals or movie musicals, and it's really pushing more of the commercial aspect of Broadway model. I think more and more people are really yearning for an original piece of theater. And I think that this is exactly what that is. And the just two actors and a giant, well, actually, it's not a giant set, but it's like a minimal set of just suitcases that pop up every here and which way as other set pieces, which is really, really impressive. But they had the audience like in the palm of their hands. It was like everybody was just eating it up the entire time. And I was sitting with three other people who we were doing like a little project thing together, and we each left seeing we had different experiences, which was very interesting as well. So everybody can take something different from the show. So
That's
highly
very exciting.
recommend.
I'm definitely gonna have to see it when it opens.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I've not seen any shows.
Well, yeah, you're on that good Broadway schedule.
Good Merry time, baby.
Mm-hmm.
My week was good. My week was good. I'm kind of in crunch time for the dreaded The Grinch show that I've been talking about the last couple weeks because it's almost Christmas. So I'm kind of just getting that together. I have a lovely little drag show that's happening this week that I'm excited for. So that's going to be a little less stress relief. And yeah, I'm just kind of booking, like I said before, I'm booking to the end of the year. The finish line will be New Year's Day.
Literally.
especially considering my schedule around Christmas. We have 11 shows in a row, which is really funny, really enjoyable. I can't wait for that time. But it's just literally going to be going to the end of the year, which is it's gonna fly by, especially with how much work is going on. And I'm excited. I'm excited, but I cannot wait for January because there's very exciting things happening in January. Maybe with this little podcast, and then in February,
Yes.
um, and then in February, we're going on family vacation. So
Uh, that's literally
I
like
have
all I
nothing
was.
but stuff to gear up to.
Yes, I'm like, I am only looking forward to February, which is crazy because that month is so bleh. Or cut that. Go ahead.
Well, luckily, this episode, we have, speaking of family vacation, we have our lovely friend with us, Niko. Um, does kind of the same thing that I do. He's also he's a hair and wig stylist. He's worked on Broadway. He's off Broadway, and we're gonna have a lovely conversation with him about doing such. He's on an off Broadway show right now, which hopefully he can tell us more about. And we're gonna shoot the shit and be little gay queening out around Alana. Which is very exciting.
My favorite thing to do. Yeah, but I am so excited. So let's
Big sleigh break time. Oh my god, hi, we're back. We're back with our lovely friend Niko Granados, who is also a hairstylist and wig stylist, who works in theater and has worked anywhere from regionally, off Broadway, on Broadway. We have talent in the building. Hi, Niko. Tell us who you are, what you do, how old you are, what's your favorite color?
Hey, my name's Niko. I am 26 years old. My favorite color is purple. I do love a purple. I am a hair and makeup artist. I work on Broadway. I work off Broadway. I worked regionally like once. It was a good time. And I am currently the hair and makeup supervisor for Let's Love at the Atlantic Theater.
Ooh, let's love. I know Audrey Plaza's in that show.
She is. She is. She is an absolute gem. She is so crazy. I love her.
Niko has a lovely little relationship with Alana. This is kind of turned into the nepotism podcast because we sure do like
literally.
letting our friends and
Y'all really go through your contact list and go, all right, let's do this week. Let's do her this week. All right, scroll. Okay, no, yeah, let's go with her. We like her. We like her.
no,
But we
it's
have
more like
really good contacts, and our friends are super talented, and we want to give them the platform to talk a little
also we
bit
have a lot
more
of
about
friends that
working in
work
this
in theater.
industry.
Listen, how many times has Tina Fey been on Amy Poehler's podcast? Like,
And
it's
it's the same
okay.
thing. It's the same thing.
And it's the same thing. It is the same. You guys are Amy Poehler. I am Tina Fey. And
Exactly.
Exactly.
that's the message we are conveying here. Yes.
And
No,
we've
it's
always
more
said
like
that. So
Amda's greatest hits that you never hear about. That's honestly more like it.
Well, no
But
one's sending me a bouquet.
anyways, what's it like working?
Niko went to school with Alana and I at Amda, and that's how we became friends. Niko's probably actually one of the very first people that I met after moving to the city. And luckily, we literally do almost the exact same thing. Big slay. So today's gonna be a very hair and makeup focused episode. Niko,
So
you
all
there?
of you deck carpenters, you can log off now.
Right? No, listen,
Oh,
No,
listen
we
for
need
the
the stream.
sake
We need the
of.
streams. We need the streams. We need the streams.
No, listen for the sake of knowing new information. I mean, that's why we do this podcast, and we kind of want other people to know the information of other departments and what they do and other aspects of theater to get them more, say it with me, into the industry.
industry. That's exactly where I
Gag
was gonna go with that. Yep.
Gag in.
So Niko, you're currently on your off-Broadway show. But you recently just ended Drag the Musical, also off-Broadway at New World Stages.
Yes.
And you were kind of telling us a little bit before the differences between running those two shows. Can you kind of go in about it a little bit
Yeah.
more here?
Yeah. Drag the Musical obviously incorporated about 8 drag queens in the show. The show in itself, in total, had about 100 wigs in the room, 100 wigs in the building, and The track involved a nonstop flow of running, pinning, gluing, jumping, everything. And the current show that I'm
Pirouetting.
on right now has one wig, and it
I
feels
love
pretty
growth.
good. And it feels pretty good. No, 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 no. I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, the other show, Drag the Musical, was a production. It was a spectacle of drag excellence. And this show, obviously, it's less about that and more just about these characters and like I get more of a like more simplistic. And so because of that, um obviously there's going to be drastically less wigs in there. But with the lady that is wigged in our show, her whole character, her whole persona is she's an older woman at the bar. She has this big monologue about her life and the people that she slept with. She was a Catholic girl who had an affair with a minor league baseball player. She goes into these long-winded rants that are they're all comedic, which is hilarious when you talk to the actors because it's like night and day between the two. And she's just raunchy and sultry, and that's what we wanted to convey in the wig. And so even though there's less wigs, because there's just the one wig, we got to make sure that that wig is like
On point at all
correct
times.
for this exactly 100% correct for this character. But that being said, it is I mean, I like whether it's 100 wigs or one wig, it's so much fun. I love what I do, and it's so great.
And again, saying the luxury, me and Nico do the exact same thing. So Alana's gonna kind of ask us group questions because
Very that, very that.
to avoid any wrap over.
Be like, Alana, what? Alana, what?
Alana, what? Yes.
Alana, what? Exactly.
Yeah, I did. I loved seeing Drag the Musical, and I do have like one question more so pertaining to Drag the Musical. You
hmm
being both of you being drag queens as well, but Nico also being a drag.
Not outing us.
Did I spoil it?
Not you outing me on your podcast.
Well, girl, come on.
Oh my
But
God,
both
criminal.
of
My
you,
girlfriend's gonna be so mad about this.
both of you doing drag. Nico is Sierra Laporta and Darion is D. Riley.
Not
Nico
not the drag debut. Not the drag debut on the podcast.
Nico, you being a drag queen as Sierra Laporta stepping into being the supervisor for Drag the Musical, was that intimidating to work with other drag queens? What are some of the things that like they taught you, or what was that like community like? Because a lot of
Yeah.
I would say majority of drag queens are also experts of hair, so it's like you have to maybe even be more so every single day that you step into that room.
Yeah, no. It was very, very. I will say it was. I was like, not only was I stepping in with these girls, but I was also huge fans of so many of them going into it. And so that's just like it was just like it was another level of like it was another level of like, all right, let's really do this. Let's really have our fun. Honestly, and like there were a lot of techniques that we don't really do in theater that seasoned drag queens like know very well. So there was a lot of things that I got to learn from. And the makeup designer, Aurora Sexton, she is a talented, incredibly talented girl, very talented queen. She got all these girls together before she left. And from her I learned so much. Like all these old school pageant tricks. I mean, we there were like I will say, Drag the Musical, we probably a lot more drag tricks than theater tricks because that's what was called for the show. And we were able to luckily incorporate a lot of theatrical techniques into these drag queens like daily routines, which a lot of them really liked. One of the girls was like, "Oh my God, these clips and this band and the wig cap all together, and I don't have to glue my wig down. I can really move my hair, and I don't have to glue my wig down every time." She's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna get traction alopecia because of this. This is lovely."
I
And
said,
so
girl,
I learned
the
a lot
tricks of the
from them, and
trade.
they learned a lot from me. which was
That's like really.
I would say on the opposite of that, just being um being another girl that has worked on another musical pertaining drag queens. I would say the amazing thing about Drag, the musical, is that it showed. Don't get me wrong, I love Miss Boots, I do, but what was great about Drag the musical was it was so current in its drag and what drag has become now. And I do think that like shows like Kinky Boots or shows like Lacage, when I would say it's drag queens viewed in the light of straight people sometimes.
100%. That's what I love. That specifically is why I loved working on Drag the Musical so much. I mean, there was so much extra stuff that, especially because they hired real drag queens, a lot of them, like a lot of them put a lot more into the drag that, say, an actor in a regional production of Kinky Boots would. Where these girls were asking the theater if they can come in, well, like hours before the show was even gonna start, to get their makeup on, to make sure everything looked pristine and perfect. I think the earliest people would come in, like I knew people that were coming in 4 hours before the show
Just to get ready and get in it.
Yeah, because they knew that that's what they needed to get ready for it. Literally, like, yeah, it would be people coming in from New Jersey or from, from New Jersey or from other parts of or from other boroughs to come down here, at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to start their face and really do the process that they normally do when they're getting ready for a gig.
Yeah.
That like really
I love that.
Very, very different processes.
Bringing queer art to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, yes.
because there's a lack of it.
Well, yes. Do you guys both feel as though like the average person, I would assume that the average person doesn't necessarily even think about a hair and makeup department when they walk into the theater. So like what would you say is like maybe like a common misconception about the hair and makeup department of theaters?
Oh, can I tell a story? Can I tell a story? Story time.
Yeah, story time.
I was I was a part of the committee for unionizing the Atlantic Theater. While I wasn't able to do as much as my colleagues did, just simply because simply because I wasn't working at the Atlantic at the time. But I was one of the representatives for 798. And I was in one of the meetings as we were going through the contract, and um we were trying to talk about a clause in there that pertains to hair and makeup and things changing. And even the committee members, the people that weren't specifically working with like 798, even they were having issues, like even they were having issues trying to understand where we were coming from in terms of like makeup being different or hair being different, and how that might be an issue, and how that might be an issue for the contract. And so I presented the concept. All right, well, what if your actor walks on that stage, sits down on a chair, and goes, "Oh, I don't like this chair. I have one at home. I'm gonna bring in my own chair, and that's gonna be for the show." And all of a sudden, everybody stood up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That will never happen in the theater. That will never happen in the theater, because that is a design problem. That means that's a design issue. And if it's a design issue, then no, the actor can't just bring in their own chair. And so then I said, great. So what you're saying right now is the exact scenario for what we're discussing, but for hair and makeup. The actor is not like that. It is the exact same thing. Our scenic design, we are talking about hair and makeup design. And I'm not kidding. Half of the people in the room had no idea that they were hair designers and makeup designers that worked on shows. Every single, like literally half of them went, that's like a design. I'm like, yes, that is a design plot that is literally in the show. I got a binder in the back. I got my hypothetical binder. I got a binder in the back. I got a binder in the back that dictates how the show looks, and depending on what show I'm working on, how to achieve said looks. I'm like, there are design aspects that you might not be thinking of that we are bringing up in this contract. And they went,
I would say more
right.
for the average person. I think like the theater goer, like the theater fan, obviously
Yeah.
knows that there's hair and makeup in shows because most of the time they also do theater, and that's part of the experience of being an actor, getting ready for the show, getting your hair, getting your makeup done, putting your wig on and stuff. But for productions and like for like producers putting stuff on, I do very much feel like hair and makeup are both overlooked. And this is something that you can literally tell any hair designer, makeup designer across the board. We're probably some of the most, in some situations, some of the most overworked and yet underpaid people in the building. So when we show up and we're there before everyone gets there, and then we leave when we don't leave until everyone else is already gone, it makes it even more prevalent that like, so something, we just come up and things just happen. People just have their hair done. Wigs just happen to appear in front of people's eyes.
Out of thin air, out of thin air.
That behavior happens quite often, especially in higher production theater. The only way that is really viewed is like we do cost a lot of money that they don't like to spend. And that is another part of it, that a lot of our departments are underfunded. We don't have enough stuff because wigs are quite expensive. That's more of like a producer kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of production side. I think hair and makeup is a little under celebrated in a way. Like just that being like, we don't have any Tony categories. All of our categories that are in film and stuff, it's usually one award for both hair and makeup, not one or the other, which could mean a lot of things. You could have great hairstyling on a show, but that's kind of always going to be overshadowed by some movie that has crazy special effects makeup. So like there are different things. I believe as a unit is overlooked quite often because hair and makeup isn't viewed as it's a physical trade. It's something more like being an electrician. Like it's something that you physically have to do, and you physically have to be trained on how to do it for it to happen, opposed to like, I'm a screenwriter and I'm the director and I made this all appear in front of you. This is my work. When in reality, it's like, no, about 75 other people made this happen for you. And hair and makeup is just one of those things that we constantly have to be like, no, look at all of the wigs I spent 2 weeks styling for you because I'm the only one that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
That was a long-winded answer to your question, but
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. I think that's something that's very interesting that you were literally just talking about, was that it's a trade. I mean, like so many jobs, I think so many jobs on crew and backstage are a trade. So with pertaining to like hair and makeup, like speaking to that trade, how did you gain those skills? How do you keep maintaining them and learning when you're actually on the job in order to get the job?
You heard it first. Me and Darion are trade.
whoa.
Yes. Finally.
I would say, for me personally, everyone truly, and I have learned this just working in theater and working with so many other hairdressers and makeup artists, everyone truly comes from a different background and how they got here and how they learned and everything. There are great schools you can learn hair design now and wig building and making, and cosmetology schools that help you learn styling and barber technique and skills and salon work and everything. I fortunately was already makeup certified when I came to this city. I used to be a wedding makeup artist. So I used to like, I already had a makeup trajectory in my brain, but I wasn't using it at the time. I actually did not know a lot about hair and wigs as like rather than being like the everyday gay person who liked a wig, you know? I learned a lot of what I do now from working and from the trade and from being hands-on and doing it in person, which is very fortunate for me. And I have the ability to pick up skills easily. So that's what I benefit I benefited from doing. But I do always recommend going to a certification or a class, or if there's training that you can get, then always do that. Please always do. If there's a wig building class you can take a wig building class. If you, even for like repairs, if you are an average person, if you're a drag queen that wears wigs, like you can take a class in wig building and learn how to customize your wigs to like the oomph degree, and learn how to repair your wigs when your wigs are falling apart or breaking. In saying that, I learned a lot of what I do now from working and from being on the field, being a Broadway dressing room. But that's my journey. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people around me to teach me a lot of those skills as well.
Yeah. I had I like Darion, I had an affinity for hair and makeup before I came to New York. I didn't exactly have the same skill set at the time. I definitely was not in that same like definitely I wasn't working as a hairstylist or makeup artist, but it was definitely something that like it was a skill that I wanted to learn. And so at the time I was very much self-taught. I was watching, I was watching YouTube tutorial on YouTube tutorial, specifically learning how to do drag wigs because the huge wigs that like they have, I just absolutely love them. And then that was just, I guess that was a skill that I like sort of like locked in on for a few years, teaching myself how to style wigs, synthetic wigs. I'm never really touching actual human hair. And then when I wanted to get really serious on it, to like actually learn how to be a hairstylist, I went to Empire Beauty School. And that was a very like it was a very tricky thing because at the time I wasn't working in theater and I was going to school full time. And so originally the plan was, or my original want was I'd be in school during the day and then at night jumping on different shows, like working part time anywhere that needed me. And these two wants just kept clashing. And so in the end I leave beauty school. But the fun part was literally the day that I was dropping out, beauty school dropout, no graduation day for me. That day was the same day that a supervisor reached out to me saying, "Hey, we had an emergency. Is there any way you can show up here in like 2 hours and run a two-show day for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. I'm down for it." I literally cleared out my locker and I ran over to the August Wilson and I did their two-show day with track notes in hand and lovely people backstage
Oh,
pointing where I should go that week. And then that week they were like, "Yeah, that was incredible. That was great. Can you stay for the rest of the week?" And so I stayed for the rest of the week. And that was my first ever job in backstage in the theater, at least full time. That was the first time. And it went well. And it went really well. They kept, I ended up joining their swing rotation. They helped me get into another hair room. And then that sort of all kind of snowballed into the resume that I have now.
Yeah, so like
But everything else I've
learning on the
every other thing I've learned on the job, different aspects, different
yeah.
techniques.
Yeah. And I would say even your experience going to beauty school, like it's a different, because that's more doing hair on people's heads, regardless, and like salon work and stuff. And I would even say that is a completely different skill set than working in wigs, and vice
Hmm.
versa. Like someone who's traditionally a traditionally trained cosmetologist and certified cosmetologist doesn't necessarily know how to work with wigs, whether that be human hair wigs or synthetic wigs. It's kind of a thing that you pick up, or again, go to school specifically for that. But
When I was in
great,
school, it
lovely
was actually
question.
really funny. All the teachers knew which mannequin heads were mine because I would always do like period styles. So everyone would have like there would be there would be people that did cornrows. There'd be people that were doing installs, and then they look over at mine, and it would just look like Audrey Hepburn. And
Oop.
they were like, "That's Niko's. That's Niko. I can tell."
I love a
I'm like,
roller set,
right, right,
girl.
right. That little bang, that little swoop she got right over here. Yeah, that's hers. It was so funny.
I love a roller set.
Right?
okay, so we beautiful. Uh, uh, you guys both have been designers on shows or have designed wigs before. Can you talk a little bit about that process and also maybe getting into budgeting side of like the hair and makeup department? Because as you guys have previously talked about, a lot of the times it's underrepresented. A lot of the times the producers aren't necessarily really paying attention to the hair and makeup department, but it's a huge part of actually like what makes the show look good. And I think that people don't really understand that. So I think that it'd be interesting to kind of hear about that aspect of designing.
I say that, Nico, you can go first.
I've I've never designed a show.
But you've designed wigs
You
before.
you designed wigs before.
I
For
mean, yeah, I
Masquerade,
don't
they
know.
gave you
I
a budget,
wouldn't.
you
I mean,
designed a whole bunch of wigs.
I styled drag wigs, but like I wouldn't necessarily say that I've like designed. Like I wouldn't necessarily put myself in a designer category.
Mhm.
That's for
Okay.
2027. That's the
Come on, goals, period.
And
Of
that's
course,
fine.
of course. That's for
Okay.
2027. I got a lot planned that year. It's very that.
I would say
That's
for me, I do consider myself a designer, whether sometimes I like to be or not. I would say one of the biggest things whenever any show that I've ever seen, you could have the best actors, you can have the best set. If those costumes and wigs look crazy, it's the only thing I'm looking at. It is the only thing I'm looking at. Even beyond just like coming from the hair and makeup world, being like, okay, obviously that's the first thing my eyes are going to go to. Also, anyone that ever watches any TV film with any of what with me or Nico will ruin your whole life
Mhm.
because I can point out who's in a
Oh,
wig at any
100%.
moment.
100%. We see a
Yep.
bad wig and go, that's a wig.
I could see a really
That's
good I could
wow,
see a
that's a
really good wig
bad
and be like,
wig.
that's a wig. But it's the first thing I'm looking at if something is afoot. So when I would say when having a budget conversation, kind of like what I said before, wigs are very expensive, especially really nice wigs. They're very expensive. Like I would say your best Broadway wig can range anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 for one wig. So it's like
Whoa.
when you're trying to like outfit a whole show, and maybe it's a musical where you do have 20 people on stage and they're all in wigs, right? Those wigs can vary in quality. Like let's say an ensemble member is wearing this wig for literally 2 minutes, and they walk on stage, stand there, and then they walk off. That wig does not need to be fully ventilated, hand tied piece. Now sometimes it is, depending on the designer, but there are wigs of ranges. But like in saying like Megan Hilty's wig that she wears in Death Becomes Her, that wig is constantly styled all the time. It needs to look pristine. It needs to look like it's growing out of her head, even if you're a foot away from her. So that wig is going to range in costs from, like I said, the higher end of anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 for just this one wig. And in budgeting shows like that, whether it be a big musical or whether it be like a regional theater production, it's very important to find a budget that matches the needs of your show. I have been in many a predicament that the budget does not do that, and then you find yourself in situations where you're always fighting for more of a budget. But it's about finding what is most important to use for your budget and what can you, kind of like what I said before, ensemble member number 18 that stands in the back for 2 seconds. Maybe she doesn't need a $5,000 wig. Maybe we can find something for her and customize it for her so it looks really nice from the stage, but it does not need to be $10,000. Finding what kind of equipment you need to style that and what it is. Those are all things that are included in the budget. And also building wigs. Building wigs are very expensive. And paying builders, if you do not build yourself, is also very expensive. That's just like from a budgeting standpoint. When it comes to like making wigs appear, like building a wig out of nothing, I would say it takes about 100 hours to make a wig, to build a wig. It takes about 100 hours, and you're paying whoever person, whether it be yourself or someone else, to build that wig for you. And that's where most of the cost comes in, is making the actual wig. When you're ventilating a wig, every single hair is tied into the lace one at a time, or double knotted. It depends the way you're building the wig. But it's someone taking a needle and a bushel full of hair and literally tying every single hair into the wig. It takes a lot of time. It makes me go cross-eyed. I hate doing it.
I'm
But that's what
sure.
we're paying for. But that's what we're paying for. But that's the quality that you need when you're doing a higher budget or bigger production show, or you want your wig to look really good. I can go to Spirit Halloween. Well, I would never go to Spirit Halloween. That's crazy. I could go to the beauty supply store. I could go to the beauty supply store and buy a wig for $200 or $100, but I'm gonna put it on and it's gonna look like a wig. That is something that can happen. That happens all the time, and that's where you see some regional productions where you go, "Ooh, I guess we're all in
Oh,
wigs."
that's a wig, Mary.
But again, it's a matter of quality and budget. A regional house might have a budget of $1,000 for your wig budget, and then you have to make that work. But let alone a Broadway show, good night and good luck, you have $120,000 to work with for your wig budget. That's why these shows cost $5 million to put up. There are ranges of abilities and things that you need to put on a show, where wig designers and makeup designers, where our work comes in, is making the best product with what we have and what the budget is.
I was like, is there a certain type of like level that you both prefer working at in the hair and makeup department? Do you prefer
Broadway.
like okay,
Well-
but like a level, like do you prefer to be this, like do you like being the supervisor? Do you want to continue to designing shows? Do you like being first chair, second chair? Like do you like swinging? Like where do you find like that you have preference and comfortability?
Swinging is fun because swinging is a great way to meet other people, especially in your field. It is a great way to like meet. It's a great way to meet other hairdressers, and like that's a lot of how I've learned. That's a lot of how I've learned. When I first started, I was swinging full time, and I was learning different techniques from so many other people, like other hairdressers in the field. And so I loved swinging. It's really cool.
Mhm. I think for those
But then that
listening
takeaway is you don't have like a that the but then the takeaway is work is so like stagnant. You can have times where you're working a lot and then times where you're not working at all. Which is why I love that full-time aesthetic, that full-time vibe. That one's a lot more fun because then you get a little more stability in there.
Yes, I think that for people who are listening right now, and when we keep like referring to swinging, if you don't know like what swinging for hair on Broadway is, it's like basically like swinging like actor track. Like you're literally jumping into a wig track or a certain type of hair and makeup track in a show, and you're performing that role for either that night, that week, or that month, however long they need you for. So you're really just jumping in wherever they see fit. And if people want to start swinging for hair and makeup, like how can they find those jobs?
I always suggest, well, I would say networking is key, especially in this job. Cut to mine and Alana's last episode about networking. This is truly, and I will say it again, and I said it in the networking episode, is truly, people want to work with people that they like and that they know work well. So the more that you meet people and the more that you're actively trying to meet people and making those connections is the best. It's the best option, especially for a job like this. I would say if you do have an interest in hair or makeup and anything on Broadway and you want to swing, make a resume, make a good resume with all the experience that you have, regardless if you've done theater before or anything. If you're a salon artist, if you are a drag queen and stuff, make a resume that showcases you in the best light and your abilities and what you currently can do. Do not lie on your resume because we will find out the second you walk into that room what you can and can't do.
Very that.
And literally drop off, right? See if you can find out who's the supervisor of the show that you're dropping off for. Go to the Broadway Theater stage door, knock on the door, press a little button and say, I'm dropping off a resume for the hair and makeup supervisor. And it will get to the hair and makeup supervisor. They will see it. It might be a point of if they're looking for swings right now or if they're looking for an emergency coverage situation. But that is always first step. And it means a lot if you have a cover letter as well too, and you know who the supervisor is and who you're talking to directly. That is my number one go-to first at all times for swinging for hair and makeup.
great resource for finding hair and makeup supervisors is go to Playbill or what's it called? The like IMDb of Broadway. But go there and you can actually look up the Playbill and see like the actual like physical,
Yeah.
it's not a physical copy, but the copy of what the playbill is of that show is, and you can absolutely find the hair and makeup supervisor's name in that playbill. That is exactly how you find names of who you're looking for. That's just a great
And
little
every single
resource
show.
and
And
tip.
hair and makeup designers too. Hair and makeup designers,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even have to look in the playbill. They're in the bio. You can find who is designing the show on every show on playbill.com. That's a great resource,
Exactly.
Mhm.
Alana.
T.
Gotta be a Nancy Drew if you're gonna start out. Gotta really dig into, really look. That's
Yeah.
again,
And
research is a huge aspect of this.
and my thing is, it's just like, it's very, and this is, I guess, like more ego wise, it's very flattering to have someone know who they're talking to. If you give someone a generic, I would like job, please, letter, then that's what it's going to come off as. So it's like, okay, whatever. Thank you for the resume. I'm going to put it with the other resumes. Like, make sure that there's some individuality. I'm going to backtrack a little bit to the question that you asked Niko. I agree with Niko when it comes to swinging. I think I was a full-time swing for a very long time. I think it's what made me learn so many things the absolute fastest, because you work on many shows at the same time that has different requirements. But I would say I prefer supervising shows. I am a little bit of a finding it.
Control freak.
I'm finding it.
You need to be
Sound it
in
out, sound it out.
charge.
I'm a little bit of I like things to run a certain way.
Well, yeah.
I've been on other shows too. I don't mind having working under good supervisors either. But I've found the last couple of years I enjoy supervising and I enjoy running a room. But swinging is a great option. But also in a world, there's going to be a time where I'm like, give me the third chair. Give me the third chair.
I think
Let me
assisting a
just block
really
all
good
the wigs and go home.
I think assisting a really good supervisor is also very fun. That's another great resource to learn from. And then also, I like working in like rooms where there's more than one person, because then sometimes you can just it gets a like you're able, if there's that like point of downtime, you get to hang out for like the 5 minutes that you get to rest for before you got to
Mhm.
run to that wig change, or you got to run to that makeup change, or you got to start doing A, B, and C.
Yeah.
I would say, to kind of round out our conversation, because we are hitting in time, Niko, what would, and at the end I kind of want to give out some places to go if you have an interest. But Niko, what would you say was your best like tidbit of advice, or what's your best knowledge that you could give someone, for someone who's currently doing what you do, or someone who has an interest?
I would say okay, it is okay starting self-taught. If your way of getting into what we do and learning how to do it is to find the motives and find the ways to teach yourself first before you that is a great way to start. I fear I started on the YouTube universities, and
Right.
from there, I was able to have at least enough knowledge to be in the field and learn learn even more, and get even more, and have even more under my belt, more skills that I can now take to other rooms. And that was just like a great way for me to that was a great way to propel me forward.
I love
And then
that.
also the big one is just do it. If this is something that you're very interested in, especially if you're an actor, because you can have a thriving career in the entertainment industry. Literally, there are so many other career paths in what we do that you can jump into.
Period. And
So,
that's why we have
girl,
this
do it.
podcast called Into the Industry. If you have an interest in makeup, about bi-monthly, or we do it probably every quarter. If you live in the New York area, 798, we have like a little mixer social of all the current Broadway hair and makeup people. That's a great resource. We enjoy people who have the interest coming to meet new people and network. It's literally a big networking opportunity. If you live on the what coast is this? If you live on the West
We're
Coast,
East Coast.
East Coast.
706 is the hair and makeup union over there. IATSE local 706. They also have a lot of resources. There's classes that you can take that are free that you can look into on both the 706 website and the 798 website. Also, use the resources that the internet can give you, kind of like Niko was saying. There are great YouTube videos that you can use to build your skill sets. There are great opportunities that you can take now, even if you don't have all the information. Follow the supervisors on Instagram. We all have LinkedIn. Don't follow me on LinkedIn because I don't check it. I would say that's my best advice. My name
Yay.
is Darion Matthews. This has been episode 10 of Into the Industry.
Yes. Niko, thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
Where can people find
Speaking
you?
of following, where can people find you? Let us know.
You can find me on Instagram at Niko Granados.
And do you want to plug
And
Sierra?
Oh,
and
and you can also find me on TikTok at Sierra La Puerta NYC, Instagram as well. Oh my God, Niko Granados on this podcast. But hey,
I know, but we talked
if
about
I made
drag.
you laugh, if they didn't edit my jokes out, you can find me at Sierra La Puerta as well.
ooh, well,
You're
we'll
like,
see
and
about
all of a
that.
sudden,
And all of a sudden this
cut,
episode's
cut,
15
cut.
minutes long.
Well,
Alana, can you tell them where to follow you?
If you aren't already following me, you can follow me everywhere at Alana Noble.
If you like this podcast and want to listen to it more, you can follow us at Into the Industry Podcast on TikTok and on Instagram. Bye, y'all.
let me hit the Anthony Mackie.